Okay.
Hey moms, it's Katie and Beth, and we are doing our meeting by Zoom today because, we're busy moms. It just,
Yeah, sometimes business and momhood just gets in the way of getting together.
yes, that's so true. Not to mention, we're kind of halfway across the world from each other.
Yeah, it feels that way.
So, what
So
are we talking about today?
we are going over a couple of the chapters in the five love languages. This is the next book that we've been covering. And the two chapters that we're working on today or discussing today are keeping the love tank full and falling in love. And some like Katie, you used to do like a love tank post.
Post.
So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. Did that start? Was that inspired by this book?
Yeah, pretty much. So it's about keeping the love tank full. And it was just kind of like more of a personal journey on my end and
Mm-hmm.
sort of some things that I found inspirational or that I thought might be helpful for others in order to just help them have more fulfilling relationships. And so
Yeah.
Love Tank was actually replaced with More Than a Mom.
Oh, well, there you go.
So
Woohoo.
and here we are today. So
Moving on to bigger and better things.
so but the moms might not understand what a love tank is.
Yeah. Do you kind of want to explain to us what a love tank is and how it works?
Well, it's basically like a gas tank, right? And in order for your car to for you to be able to drive your car and for your car to work, you got to fill it up with gas.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for us. So I guess our feelings of love from our chosen partner, I was going to say sponsor, or even your child or anybody that you're in relationship with, you sort of have the same tank.
Mm-hmm.
And what they put into that tank, or vice versa, what you put into their tank is like the gas in the tank of a car.
Yes. That's a really good analogy. In the book, the author talks a little bit about how that applies with kids. Like when our kids start misbehaving or acting out, it's probably because their love tank is feeling a little bit empty. And so they're doing those things to get attention to fill up their love tank because they don't know how to ask for what they need. Sometimes, they're little, they're still learning. And I
Right.
thought that was a huge eye opener for me as a mom, like thinking, oh my goodness, I get so frustrated when my kids do these things, but really it's just because they need something from me. And
Right.
so that's a great way to I don't know, parent, I guess, like to look at their misbehavior or their acting out as, okay, what do they need right now? Instead of why are they doing this when they know that they're not supposed to and getting
Right.
frustrated.
Gives you,
So that was,
gives you stop and think for a second.
yeah. And
And it's
there's a prompt at the end of every chapter. There's like a little prompt in the book, and at the end of that chapter it says, has there ever been a time where you did something because you meant well that is out of loving motives? How did it turn out? I think sometimes we do things that we are trying, like that we see as being loving or helpful, but they're not always, and that ties into the love languages because everyone receives information differently.
right. And so that's what our topic is in 2 weeks when we do our video again, are those 5 languages. Yes?
Yes, yes. And so here's why the love languages are important. The chapter on falling in love talks about how when you fall in love for the first time with someone, you're in this like euphoric state of obsession or infatuation, and everything is so awesome. And other people might say, well, what about this? What about that? What about that? And you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. We're in love. We've all probably been there or said it to somebody before. Um, And it was interesting because there's actually studies that have been done about that state of in love, obsession, or infatuation wearing off after 2 years. So I'm thinking back in my marriage, okay, like, yeah, after our second year of marriage is when stuff got really hard,
Mm-hmm.
really real. And So that was kind of interesting to apply that, like that data that they have.
That is very
And
interesting. And you, just not to interrupt you, but at the 2 year mark or whatever mark it happens to be for you as an individual, if that starts happening, that doesn't mean that you were wrong about this person or that
right,
it's destined to fail or, oh my God, let's just quit and get a divorce because, whatever. It just means that there needs to be some more clarity and, some conversations had, some maybe difficult conversations.
absolutely. That hits this whole chapter like right on the head. Was just because that 2 year wears off, that in love feeling wears off, doesn't necessarily mean there can't be love in your marriage or that the love is gone. It just means now comes the reality and the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And any relationship takes work, and that includes our marriages. It's not just going to be, oh, we're married and now everything's good and happy and dandy. Like, no, you have to actually work at it.
Right. And the same thing, I think, with parenting. I think that,
Yeah,
not only takes work on our behalf because we know that, there's the real physical work that goes to it. There's the caring for another person. There's the being, responsible for their lives and their safety and all of that. But the actual interaction in the relationship with your child, and you could probably speak to this more than I can, because I only have one child. I would imagine that 3 children or 2 or whatever, that they have different love languages and that you need
yes,
to speak to them differently.
yes, absolutely. So I have 3, for those that don't know. And one is almost 8 months old, so I don't really know what her love language is yet, other than she just wants snuggled a lot. And then, but my older 2 are very different. My oldest, Abigail, she loves getting gifts and giving gifts. Like gifts, gifts, gifts all the time. That is one of her primary love languages. And then my second daughter, Alice, is very much like the quality time. Like she wants to wrestle. She wants to go do something together. She wants to read a book together. She wants to just be in the same room with you doing something. And so it can be tricky parenting kids of multiple different love languages, but being able to figure it out has definitely made things easier because I can recognize, okay, she's acting out today. That means she needs this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, so it kind of opens your eyes and maybe makes it a little bit easier to parent these little humans.
Yeah. So I just want to touch on something really quickly that is in this chapter. I know that we have some single moms out there. We have moms who are married, moms who are in a serious relationship, moms who are dating. So moms in all different kinds of walks of life. And sometimes we also have moms who have been divorced or widowed and they think they'll never find love again. And I just want you guys to know that you can. And or maybe you're in a marriage that you feel is loveless and there's not any kind of like abuse or anything like that. You're just kind of at that point where that in love feeling wore off. So there's something that was in here. It talks about how love is emotional in nature, and this is after that like obsession or infatuation has worn off. This is a love that unites reason and emotion. It involves an act of will and requires discipline. It recognizes the need for personal growth. Our most basic emotional need is not to fall in love, but to genuinely be loved by another. To know a love that grows out of reason and choice, not instinct. So that was really cool for me because I'm a firm believer in we all have a choice, and that applies in our relationships too. Like love is not a verb. It's like love is not a noun. It's a verb. It's an action,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a choice. It's something we get to choose every day, and and we also get to choose to love or be loved. Sometimes people are trying to love us and we push them away. Like we all have these walls, but we can choose to let that down and let people in, and we can also choose to give love. And so that was really neat for me to read that and be like, oh, hey, that goes along with what I already kind of feel about this topic. So
Mm-hmm.
just for those of you out there that, might need a little inspiration or pick me up or positivity, optimism.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think in all of our relationships, we've hit that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know I certainly have, and it is a choice on how you deal with that. I mean, you could just shut down and run the other way, and it's them and not me, and not come up with, common ground, or not discover more about your person by just asking questions and having some clear communication.
Yeah. So next week we're gonna cover some of the rest of the book.
So we're doing.
And if you guys haven't started reading it yet, it's not too late. The first 3 chapters is all that we've covered so far, and they're only like 20 pages of book. So, and they're short pages with really big text. Like,
yay! And if you're like me, you listen to it on tape.
Because I'm sure we're all in the car driving. As moms, we also get to be taxis.
For sure. Yes, we all know what that's like. All right.
Yeah.
Well, this is Katie and Beth signing off, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
All right. Bye-bye, Mom.
Bye.